and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for joining us today. The past couple of months have been very difficult for everyone, and I do hope your friends and family have been safe. With the COVID curve flattening, we can now see some light at the end of the tunnel. It looks like we will have better times ahead as the situation is improving every day. After months of lockdowns, isolation, and travel restrictions, everyone is more than ever yearning holidays. They really want to get out and travel to destinations with meaningful experiences and adventure. So today we are excited to showcase to you AlUla, the world's masterpiece, home to Hegra, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a region of extraordinary human and cultural heritage. Here one can enjoy the most outstanding natural beauty and landscapes. It's a place where one can also experience art and culture, wellness, exotic food, luxury resorts, and amazing adventure activities. The sensitive development of AlUla is a part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, which aims to diversify the economy and open this stunning and mystical country to international tourism. Now, for the first time with tourism opening up, Indians can visit AlUla, a region in one of the most beautiful and safest countries of the world. I am Beena Menon, representing AlUla in India, and I'm joined by my business partner, Huzan Fraser. And we, along with our team in Mumbai and Delhi, welcome on the panel. From the Royal Commission of AlUla, Melanie D'Souza, Executive Director, Destination Marketing, Tyler Gosnell, Head of International Destination Management and Marketing Office, and Zoe Shergold, Head of International Destination Management and Marketing Office. And also on the panel, we are privileged to have from the Saudi Tourism Authority, Simon Augustus, International Markets Advisor, India Subcontinent. We're also excited to introduce you to Mohammed Kamal, Director of Commercial of the Habitas AlUla, which is a new 100-room luxury resort opening in September. And no destination showcase can be complete without our DMC partners. We have with us Alan Al-Khoury from Al-Burak DMC. Alan is the Chief Executive Officer. And from Go Zahid Destination Management, we have Samir Mehta, Advisor Destination Management. Before proceeding with our webinar, we have some important housekeeping instructions. So please feel free, to click on any of the tabs that you see on your screens. Here, there are tabs, which have all our brochures and contact details of AlUla, as well as of all the speakers. Please ask your questions during the course of the webinar by clicking on the Q&A tab. So if you still have any questions regarding this program, please ask it on the Q&A tab and our technical assistant will be happy to help you. So today we will be doing a presentation to familiarize you with AlUla. The presentation will be followed by a panel discussion, after which we will throw the floor open for questions from the audience. We will end up with a short quiz of 5 questions, and each question carries a wonderful prize. So do pay close attention to the presentation. We are now ready to start, and I will request Melanie D'Souza, Executive Director, Destination Marketing, Royal Commission of AlUla, to introduce the newest sensation in tourism to you. Melanie is a marketing leader with an outstanding track record of achievement in the tourism and hospitality industries in Australia and Asia. Melanie was included in the list of Australia's top 50 most innovative chief marketing officers in CMO Magazine 2018. She is presently the Executive Director, Destination Marketing at the Royal Commission for AlUla, where she leads a team of specialists to develop the brand, digital assets, trade, and consumer marketing and PR to launch AlUla to the world. Over to you, Melanie.
Thank you, Beena. And can I just echo your very warm words of welcome on behalf of the Royal Commission for AlUla. I have to say our hearts have been with you in India over the last few stressful months. And as Beena said, we hope there is light at the end of this tunnel. I'd like to acknowledge our partners as well, Gus from Saudi Tourism, Samir and Alan from Go Zahid and Al-Burak respectively. It's great to have Mohammed on this webinar from Habitas. And really importantly, a big thank you, Huzan and Beena, to both of you for the job you do for us, representing us in this very critical market of India on an ongoing basis. I'd also like to acknowledge my RCU colleagues. So really, can I just say that we do greatly value the role that you in the trade play in the supply chain. And we're hoping that as a result of today's webinar, you will be inspired about this destination, AlUla, and that you will have a much deeper level of understanding about this wonderful destination and how you can sell it effectively. So really, if I talk about AlUla, I'm talking about a place that is really unique in the world. Saudi Arabia, as you know, has been closed for tourism. So there are not many destinations that can really tell you quite convincingly they are new and greenfield. AlUla is one of those, and it represents at its heart 200,000 years, and I'll say that again, 200,000 years of natural and human history. It's a place associated at its core with heritage, and it's a destination that has played home to ancient civilizations over the millennia. It's in the northwest of Arabia, easily connected by flights from Riyadh, Jeddah, and soon to be Dammam ongoing with a degree of frequency. And we're hoping for international connectivity towards the end of the year as borders open and as travel resumes. I have to say the one iconic shot that you may associate with AlUla is Hegra. And Hegra is the first UNESCO heritage classified building, if you like, in Saudi Arabia. It's associated with the Nabateans. And of course, the Nabateans in turn conjure up images of Petra. But with heritage at our core, can I just say the story that we're yet to tell about the North Arabian ancient kingdoms, the kingdoms of the Dadanites and the Leonites, which are, I guess, associated with the iconic lion tombs, the subject of a Discovery Channel documentary that I definitely recommend you to watch on our YouTube channel. Combined with Jabal Ikma, which is the open library, beautiful scripts, ancient scripts, Greek, Latin, Aramaic, Dadanitic. I do urge all of you to think about heritage in its many dimensions in AlUla, including the Old Town, as you think about your itineraries. The Old Town being a place that was occupied as recently as 40 years ago. Our locals, and we have 46,000 who call AlUla home as part of our community here, have deep connections with AlUla, mud brick villages, this labyrinth of narrow laneways that makes for the perfect Instagrammable shot. But as you alight from your aircraft and drive to the hotel, what will strike you is the majesty of nature. These stunning rock formations juxtaposed with lush oases. And obviously at a time when the great outdoors is being embraced by everybody, there is a wealth of adventure activities that you can have against this majestic backdrop. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it'll be no doubt the subject of the video presentation. But what I do want to say is that both in terms of what we've inherited and the sense of responsibility we feel about the legacy that has been left us by ancient civilizations, is the very ambitious and bold plan that we have for the future of AlUla, the subject of the Journey Through Time Master Plan, which at its heart talks about sustainability, not just in terms of the respect we will have for the environment as we develop this place, but also, if you like, how very much in our ambition is that the local community is at the forefront of the tour and at the beneficiaries, if you like, of the tourism economy. So the business tourism market is the other one that I will just stress. We have this magnificent award-winning building called Mariah that is the home for our arts and cultural and entertainment offering. You will hear more about our event calendar, which is pretty packed for the end of this year and into March next year. And really, between heritage, adventure, and the arts and cultural space, we have really a very compelling list of reasons why AlUla should be a must-do as far as your clients are concerned in terms of destination choice. I might leave it there and just pass back to Bina, but I do hope that you find the next hour and a bit both rewarding and enlightening And I do hope to see you and welcome you in AlUla in the very near short term.
Thank you, Melanie, for that great introduction. As someone who has lived in India for many years and someone who knows the India market inside out and is now living in AlUla, it has been wonderful to have your perspective on what makes AlUla a compelling destination for Indians. Thank you so much for joining us to deliver the opening speech. We will now move ahead and I will present AlUla to you. And as I go along, you may please put your questions into the Q&A tab on your screen. And please pay close attention as we have a quiz at the end of this session with some great prizes. Thank you. AlUla is a living, breathing, open-air museum full of awe-inspiring heritage sites and natural wonders. And over thousands of years, travelers to AlUla have been inspired by its beauty and sustained by its oasis. AlUla has successively been ruled by ancient North Arabian kingdoms, the Ghadanites and the Lianites, and by the Nabateans and the Roman Empire. And all these civilizations have stamped the region with their unique culture. AlUla is a place of rich natural, human and cultural heritage dating back to 200,000 years of largely unexplored human history. And here one can experience 7,000 years of human civilization. And today, AlUla is going through a very careful and sensitive restoration to make it ready for modern day guests. So AlUla is about located 1,000 kilometers northwest of Riyadh. Its population is 45,000 and it's the size of a small country, 25,000 square kilometers is its area. This is Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and it's his goal and ambition to turn AlUla into a global tourism destination. This is where AlUla is located. It's located in the northwest of Saudi Arabia. This is Medina and Mecca, where the two holy mosques reside, where pilgrims go for Hajj and Umrah. And this is Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, and this is Jeddah. And there are flights from both these places into AlUla. Jeddah has some really great, souks and architecture. And there's a big Red Sea project going along here. And we believe it would be really good to also combine itineraries when you're creating for AlUla with Jeddah. You could also create itineraries with countries that are close by, like Egypt, there's Israel, there's Jordan, UAE, Abu Dhabi. It's just a 2-hour flight away from Dubai. So AlUla has for a long time been a thriving hub of activity, and the oasis has been on the incense route for caravans that used to cross over. And for centuries, people would come here and they would stop at the oasis and enjoy the bounty of this place. So its history goes back a really long way. And Hegra in AlUla is the first UNESCO World Heritage Site for Saudi Arabia. Here there are over 100 beautiful and remarkably well-preserved tombs. So there are 4 key heritage sites for AlUla. One is Hegra and the Hijaz railway station. There's the Dan, there's Jabal Ikma, and the Old Town AlUla. So if people were to come to AlUla, what is it that they would experience? What are the key attributes of the destination? Now, these would relate to heritage because it has over 200,000 years of human history and activities, and it's a living museum. It's becoming very big in the art and culture space, as we'll see as we go through this presentation. It has the most beautiful natural landscapes. It's endowed with natural beauty. It has sandstone canyons, volcanic plains, mountains, valleys, oasis, so green trees, blue skies, and golden sands. And everybody says that this is a place which you really have to be here and experience to believe how beautiful it is. It's also a great destination for adventure because, today youngsters are looking for different kinds of experiences and everybody wants to do a little bit of, soft adventure. And there are great adventure experiences also at AlUla, as we'll see. So we'll first talk about the heritage sites, of which there are 4. Now, all these heritage sites really tell the tale of a place which people once called home. So when you're here, like families and couples would be able to really take part in a lot of, you can interact with the locals. There are a lot of live enactments, there are a lot of immersive experiences which relate to the heritage of this place. And all the four heritage sites can be accessed through, one pass, and there are hop-on hop-off buses between each of the between each of these sites, which makes it really easy to get to one place, to another. And now there are a lot of hotels, restaurants coming up in this area. And Hegra is the first uh, key heritage site. It's Saudi Arabia's first UNESCO World Heritage Site. It has 111 of these tombs that you can see, which have been carved into the mountain rock. So this is where the Nabatean elite would be buried. And they paid a lot of attention, to the dead, and there were a lot of rituals, a lot of ceremony as one passed from one world to the next. And what you see over here are like the 5 steps to heaven. So when one is in Hegra, one can see these beautiful tombs. You can also go to the Hijaz railway station. The tour would take almost about 2 hours. And I'd like to add that, Hegra is a place of ancient stories and legends. And you can go on a rock art trail. You'll be accompanied by a Ravi or a storyteller. And this would be like a journey of walking and storytelling, about 1.6 kilometers. And as you go through, they will explain all the inscriptions in the rock art, So that becomes really interesting because you can learn all about the history of this place, how people used to live, how weddings were carried out, what kind of rituals they had, how they looked after their animals. And the locals over here are also very warm and welcoming, and they would very often teach you their traditional dance steps, or make some, homemade dishes for you, or teach you how to milk a camel, show you how weddings were held, or even apply henna for you. This is the Dan. It was one of the most developed cities in Saudi Arabia. It's very well known for the lion tombs. There are 12 lion tombs cut into the red rock cliff. And this place is also very good for families and children because they do a lot of archaeological digs and people can actually participate in these. Jabal Ikma is a mountain massif. It is Saudi Arabia's largest open library. And over here, there are thousands of inscriptions in ancient Arabic languages, which one can see. And a Ravi or a guide will explain what all these mean to you. And the fourth heritage site is AlUla Old Town. This is an old town which was inhabited till almost 80 years ago. And it's overlooked by this castle. And over here, there would be 900 houses, 400 shops, and 5 town squares. And each of these tell you like a good amount of stories and details. Today, this place has been, restored, and one can go here because they have pretty nice little shops. There are a lot of handicraft workshops which take place over here. You can buy dates, and they have cafes and restaurants. So it's a really nice place where one can roam around, explore, and learn about the people of this place, and also interact with the locals. So AlUla has some of the most magnificent nature and outdoor experiences. One of the key attractions that we believe is a must-do is the Elephant Rock. So this is what you're seeing over here is an elephant rock. It is a geological wonder made out of, water and wind erosion. It's the shape of an elephant with its trunk resting on the ground. So people would, want to come here, and every day the place looks completely different, like the way, because it's got a lot to do with the way the sun is setting on that particular day and what time you come. And there's great amount of seating available over here, so people can come here and enjoy this beautiful experience, and also enjoy some lovely warm beverages and delicious sweets at this restaurant called Key. Not all of AlUla is a desert. In fact, it has the most amazing oasis. So it has a lot of natural growing fruits and vegetables over here. There are millions of date palm trees that grow, and they produce over 90,000 tons of dates every year. The most famous of which is known as the Barni date. So when people come here, that is something they should definitely want to try out. And apart from dates, there are lots of other citrus fruits that grow. There's bananas, guavas, mangoes, acacia. They have the moringa tree also, which grows here, The moringa is really very well known because of the moringa oil, which is extracted and it's been exported from here for centuries. And they make all kinds of oils and shampoos and creams, etc., with the moringa. There are also lots of restaurants and cafes in this oasis area. The other great experience one could have here would be like a farm tour. They have a whole lot of really nice farms, and AlUla Fresh Farm is one such farm where you can go and you can interact with locals. They will take you around for a tour of the farm, show you the different plants, how the fruit are growing. You can pluck as much fruit as you want, and then you can go and have it juiced at the juice bar. There's a nice seating area available where you'll be treated with a lot of warm hospitality. You'll be served Arabic coffee and dates. So it's a very nice experience. Lots of farmer markets also over here. Because there is so much of citrus growing, there's always a really nice fragrance or perfume of citrus in the air. And that's why they've called this area the Orange Path. And as you wind yourself through this path, you'll reach the citrus market where you can buy all the citrus fruit that you want. And they've also got a lot of citrus infused oils, soaps and creams, as well as you can treat yourself to some really nice citrus cakes and juices. One of the other key experiences at AlUla would be stargazing. So over here, the skies are really dark, and because of that, the stars really shine through. And you can see millions of stars shining at night. And you will be accompanied by a Ravi who will tell you about how these stars would be used to predict the weather or used for navigation. And you'll be provided with these telescopes. You'll be able to actually see the Milky Way or the Orion or the Big Dipper. So it's a really exciting experience. And it will end with a really nice, a Saudi dinner. You can see everybody's, relaxed and just enjoying a very nice dinner. As I mentioned, it's becoming very, very interesting for people who have a love for adventure. You have these lovely four-wheel drives. You have vintage aircraft flights. You can go on a really nice cycling tour. You can either cycle through some of the farms, or you can, enjoy the beautiful mountain landscapes. You could even just cycle around Hegra and get a nice picture of yourself by one of these monumental tombs. You could go on a horse and camel trail. There'll be a guide who'll accompany you. You'll be provided with your saddle and water, and you can just enjoy this with your friends and family. And of course, there are lots of walking trails of different levels of difficulty, easy, medium, or difficult, depending upon what you like. And of course, they have a really nice adventure canyon where they have, a bike park and dune buggies and also zip lining. So this is something I know that Indians will really love and be very interested in. And over here, you can get to a speed of over 100 kilometers per hour and enjoy the incredible scenery of the AlUla Mountains. AlUla has also got some really good wellness experiences. If you look at the landscape, it's so beautiful that you can imagine that you could actually come here and just enjoy the natural beauty and do a really nice wellness experience. And one such experience that they do over here is known as desert drumming, which is a tribal desert drumming experience where everyone is provided with a drum and a professional facilitator will guide everybody to work collectively into very, harmonious and rhythmic kind of entertainment. And this really relaxes and energizes. And similarly, there are several other, wellness experiences over here. AlUla is really growing in arts and culture. There are lots of exhibitions and installations that keep, coming up from time to time. You have traditional artists as well as more contemporary artists. And a lot of cues are taken just from the fact that they have such an outstanding desert and such lovely, natural landscapes and beauty all over. And there's also a lovely market where you can pick up some specialty foods or handicrafts. And AlUla is becoming very big in the events place. It wants to be an events destination, and they've had some of the best performers come here and perform. They've had was the Winter Tentora Festival for 2 years. And in 2019, Lionel Richie performed, and last year, Enrique performed. Until as recently as April this year, Andrea Bocelli, along with his daughter, performed the famous Hallelujah to a crowd of about 300 people. And it's also, they've had some really good motorsports racing. The Extreme E-Race was just held in AlUla last month. Now, where would one stay? A little bit about the accommodation. Some great accommodation, in the five-star category. There's the Usher Resort, which will be Banyan Tree by the end of this year, which has some really luxury style villas. And the Habitas, which is a five-star eco-friendly resort. It has 100 luxury rooms, a Middle Eastern restaurant. This is opening by September 2021, so there's a lot to look forward to. It has some of the most amazing kinds of accommodation and villas, and some suites which are their celestial suites from which you can do stargazing from the privacy of your very own suite. Then you have the Chardon Resort, which is a 4.5-star property with bedrooms and banquet facilities available. And the Sahari is a 3-star property. And as you can see, all these properties are nestled into the natural landscape. All of them are very environmental friendly and very, very sustainable. They take a lot of care of the environment over here. For those who love the outdoors, the Airstream is a great way to see the destination because you can be driving with your family, your friends, and be in the RV all day, stop where you want, and then at night you can come to the park and relax. In the morning, you'll be provided with a nice breakfast. And because there's so much demand coming up for this destination, you have the Amman resorts coming up, there's Four Seasons all coming up in the near future. And I think this is really good because these are brands that Indians are very familiar with. And so there'll be a very high level of comfort when they want to book at AlUla. So Maraya is an excellent place to host your conferences, exhibitions, and events. And Maraya has entered the Guinness Book of World Records, this building, because it is the largest mirrored building in the whole world. It has 9,740 square meters of mirrors. Here's another image of Maraya. It reflects the surrounding landscape, and it is made of a material that doesn't attract either sand or dust, so it reflects all the time. And you can see it's got a lot of, it's done up in a very beautiful way, very high tech and very, very comfortable, and a great venue. And last year they even had an Indian wedding over here. Amazing restaurants over here. These restaurants would serve Saudi cuisine, which one should definitely try when one travels there. And of course, there's also European, continental cuisine. There is a lot of pastry shops and really interesting food, a lot of vegetarian food available, and we believe Indians would find the food really good over here. And what we are all looking forward to is the opening of Maraya Social by Jason Atherton. It is going to be Saudi Arabia's first Michelin star restaurant. Okay, so how do we get to AlUla? So there have been direct flights on Saudi Airlines as well as on Air India from Jeddah, Riyadh, and Dammam. You fly into these places either on Saudi or Air India, and you get into AlUla. And all the resorts are just within around, maybe 40 minutes from the airport. And you could even come in by car. If you're driving down from Medina, it's a 3.5-hour drive. It's about a 7.5-hour drive from Jeddah. This is the AlUla International Airport. Private jets and charters can land over here. And there's car rentals and taxi services available. And yeah, what is good is that the visas. So all Indians flying on Saudia and who have a valid UK, US or Schengen visa, for them it's visa on arrival. For those who don't have that, you'll have to visit your nearest consulate or embassy. But the good news is that Saudi Arabia now has an e-visa for several countries, and they're now looking at working on that for India as well. Yeah, so stay tuned there. So I'd just like to end this presentation by saying that you should feel extremely confident in promoting AlUla to your clients. AlUla is committed to providing the highest standards of visitor experience across the destination through all visitor experiences from pre-arrival to post-departure. Your clients will be surprised when they enter. They'll be probably welcomed with some really nice juices or dates. It's a destination where they'll experience excellence. It's very personalized and authentic. Everything over here has been like this, the way it's been like for centuries. And this is, and people would have a really nice holiday where they would be able to create some excellent memories. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attention to the presentation. I'm sure you will be having lots of questions and we will take them up immediately after the panel discussion. So please keep sending them into the Q&A tab. We will now move on to our panel discussion. So there must be lots of questions in your head since this is the first time AlUla and Saudi Arabia are opening up for tourists. You might have some concerns. So today on our panel, we have a team from AlUla who will be able to give you some further clarity on what is the place really like, how safe is it to visit, what can you wear. You will get a perspective from the panel of experts who all live in Saudi Arabia. So to reintroduce the panel, we have Tyler Gosnell, Head of International Destination Management and Marketing Office, Royal Commission for AlUla. Tyler is a marketing professional with strong experience in the global travel space, where he's run many successful programs in global source markets for leading DMOs, including Visit California and San Francisco Travel. Presently, Tyler leads global trade distribution and international marketing for the Royal Commission for AlUla, where he collaborates with an outstanding team of cross-functional experts to bring the destination to market. We also have Zoe, Head of International Destination Management and Marketing Office, Royal Commission of AlUla. Zoe is a destination communications specialist who has worked for DMOs including Visit London, Enjoy England, and Tourism Australia before joining the team in AlUla. She says the role in RCU is the most challenging and fascinating in her career to date and looks forward to opening the eyes and ears of the world to the fascinating stories and history of AlUla. We also have Augustus Simon, fondly known as Guz. Augustus is the International Markets Advisor, India subcontinent at Saudi Tourism Authority. In his role, he is responsible for the development and implementation of their commercial strategy working with the travel trade partners to build awareness about Saudi as a destination and drive conversion. We have Mohammed Kamil, Director of Commercial at Habitat AlUla. I asked him if he were to describe his hotel in one word, what would that be? And he said it would be home. That's what they call all their sustainable hotels around the world. They are a global home for a global community of like minded people seeking connection, inspiration, and a better future together. Music, wellness, conversation, art, and giving back are the pulse of the Habitat's experience, creating magical worlds where strangers become friends and friends become family. And we have two leading DMCs with us today. We have Alan El-Khoury, CEO, Alburak DMC. Established in 2011, today Alburak is a landmark in destination management and ground handling services. They are a multi-service travel company offering a complete range of travel-related and tourism products, from destination management to travel management, retail, VIP, and MICE. And we have Samir Mehta, advisor, Go Zahid Destination Management, Zahid Travel Group. Zahid Travel was established in 1958 and is one of the oldest travel companies in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They have various brands, Go Zahid Destination Management, Go Zahid Business Travel, and Go Zahid, and specialist teams to ensure a great customer experience. Zahid Travel is wholly owned by the 100 plus year old Zahid Group, a multinational organization. Samir has a lot of experience in working with India clients. My business partner, Huzan, and I will be moderating the session, and we will begin straight away. And my first question is to you, Tyler. So Indians have not been able to travel outbound on a holiday for a very long time, and they're now eagerly waiting to do so. Why do you think they would like to come to AlUla? What makes AlUla an ideal destination once borders reopen?
Well, that's a great question, Bina. And we certainly welcome all Indian visitors as soon as possible, as soon as we can open our borders officially for tourism. And I think outside of the presentation that everyone has just seen, that outlines the amazing history and heritage, the adventure, the arts and culture, the nature, all the amazing experiences that make it a great place to visit, I think why it should be one of the first destinations that you come to visit as soon as borders reopen and we're all able to travel freely again is because there are very few untouched destinations worldwide, open only for primarily religious tourism for many, many years, to now open to the world and be one of the first to visit AlUla as well as broader Saudi Arabia is an amazing opportunity. There are very few largely unexplored destinations in the world, and I know it's an overused term in the travel industry and in marketing in general, but you can really have an authentic Arabian experience here in AlUla, connecting with locals, immersing yourself in the culture, tasting the food, and getting a sense of how pilgrims and travelers have lived and inhabited the region for thousands of years, including being an important stop on the incense route many years ago. And that's the historical connection between the subcontinent and our destination and the wider Middle East. So I think it's a great start to really be one of the first to visit a new destination.
Yeah. Can't agree with you more there, Tyler. I too think it should be one of the first destinations people would love to visit. And my next question for you, my next question is for Gaz. Gaz, as of now, Indians travel to Saudi Arabia for Hajj, Umrah, and business. But as a new holiday destination, how do you plan to create awareness for Saudi Arabia? How are you going to make the destination attractive and desirable and get it onto the Indian travelers' bucket list?
Thanks for that question, Bina. I'd really like to answer that in two parts. First of all, from a positioning standpoint, Saudi Arabia is very much the authentic home of Arabia, right? Boasting the iconic culture and heritage treasures that we have, and wanting to deliver this through the authentic Saudi hospitality. Now, as a country, we are home to 5 iconic UNESCO heritage sites, We have this unexpected, amazing, diverse landscape, all the way from the deserts through to the rugged mountains, the seas, as well as these thriving modern cities of Riyadh, Jeddah, or Dammam. It really is a destination that can be sold year round, because you still have several areas in Saudi Arabia where temperatures during summer don't really go above the 25 to 27 degrees Celsius. On that development front, we are also continuing to develop a lot of our destinations in order to be ready for international visitations, with primarily the focus being on the country's natural offerings for explorers. Now, all the way from mountains in a sea through to the modern sort of Red Sea coast, as well as the ancient wonders of AlUla, which we are discussing today. Now, we are also the largest investors of sustainable tourism infrastructure in the world, with projects such as the Red Sea and the Amala, as well as there's been a lot of conscious effort to look at the heritage offering, which is also at the heart of the future of tourism in Saudi. With sites such as Diriyah today, travelers will have an opportunity to come and discover the roots of Saudi's culture. On the promotion front, we've really continued investing quite a lot on both domestic and international campaigns. Now, whilst we know the borders have been closed for international tourists, we've in the past 12 months, moved our efforts towards focusing on the domestic market and looking at how is it that we can encourage the Saudi citizens as well as residents to be inspired and explore their own country. And at the same time, as many of you in India would have seen, earlier this year, we launched one of our biggest campaigns internationally that we have done, extending across almost 26 countries and in 36 languages, that went across all outdoor broadcasts as well as digital advertising.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. It's really great to see all the work that's being done over there. And I think your global campaign has really been seen a lot in India. It's been all over the place, and a lot of people have really been asking questions about that. So that's been really good. Guys, we all know that a convenient visa policy is a must for any country to succeed as a holiday destination. So what are the developments on this front?
Look, going back a couple of years before COVID, for the very first time, Saudi Arabia opened international leisure tourist visas in September 2019. Having said that, we've always had a long history of welcoming millions of religious pilgrims to the country every year. Now, as of September 2019, the e-visa was open for 49 countries. And from that September till March period before COVID, we issued more than 400,000 tourism visas, which was launched, after the launch of the e-visa portal, which really made us the fastest growing tourist destination in the world in 2019, in that short period, right? Which tells you that there's this huge, curiosity and willingness to come to Saudi. Now, again, both tourist visas, the e-visas, as well as the visa on arrivals, as I mentioned to you, are currently suspended due to the pandemic. But upon resumption, again, it's going to open up for the 49 countries. The e-visa process provides you an e-visa for 1 year, multiple entry, which can be used for a maximum of 90 days per visit. And tourists from the eligible countries can apply for these on the e-visa portal or also on a visa on arrival. Now, going closer to India, any Indian today with a valid UK, US, or Schengen visa and flying on a Saudi national carrier is still eligible for a visa on arrival into the country, again with the same rules and regulations. Now, as countries sort of open up now, we are working collaboratively with quite a lot of the government entities across the ecosystem of tourism when it comes to health and safety, visas, as well as conditions of entry.
Thanks, Gus. Some great insights here. And we're all just waiting to travel, and we're just waiting with bated breath to be able to come to Saudi Arabia. With all the extensive projects that have been undertaken by the Saudi Tourism Authority, Indians will be excited to come there, and we believe that it'll be a great destination to market from India. Our question to you, our next question is, since the high-end Umrah market will be a captive audience for leisure travel, will they be able to travel on the same visa as they do for Umrah for a holiday?
So Huzan, on that, look, the Saudi tourist visa is definitely relevant to all tourism-related activities and Umrah. Now, whilst our mandate is not to promote Hajj or Umrah, it is our mission to inspire these pilgrims to be able to come in and explore
Yeah.
the beautiful country that we have. Now, as I mentioned through to you, the country has been largely unexplored by international visitors. And part of our role is to ensure that travelers have an opportunity to discover the authentic roots of Arabia.
Yes. I think the visa system that's coming into place for Saudi tourism for Saudi is really fantastic. And I think that's really going to, and I didn't know it was valid for almost a year and, 3 months at a time. So it really can encourage a lot of repeat visitation too. Saudi being a big country, you can, go to different areas at different times. And it's a close flight. My next question is for Tyler. We know of some really nice luxury properties and very unique properties and experiences that are coming up in AlUla. Can you touch upon the luxury segment which India will offer, and what would be the target audience for AlUla from India?
Absolutely. Well, globally, we are targeting higher end affluent audience and luxury seekers, particularly as we continue to develop and grow the destination through luxury indulgence. I think starting with visitors who are seeking cultural immersion, the history and the heritage, a well-educated audience is certainly within our bounds, as well as I think the more affluent Umrah plus audiences that we just touched upon, as well as in the business tourism space and the wedding space with our amazing venue Mariah that was touched on in the presentation, as well as mentioned by Melanie. And as far as aligning with our luxury hotel product that's coming online, we have Mohammed, who will speak about Habitas. That will be a great luxury offering opening in the fall, as well as Banyan Tree, a 5-star resort well known throughout Asia and no doubt to you all in the India market. And then the luxury trend will continue with 3 Aman resorts that will be opening in the destination within the next couple of years, as well as a hyper luxury Jean Nouvel resort and many other exciting luxury hotel products in the works. And it's certainly a destination that will continue to evolve and really serve that high-end affluent audience. And currently we're looking at an average daily spend of around 40,000 rupees per day per visitor.
That's great. So according to you, Tyler, what would be the most recommended itinerary that an Indian can do? What do you think Indians will enjoy?
That's a great question. And there's no one perfect itinerary in AlUla, as there are so many things to see and do that one could easily spend a week or more exploring all that the destination has to offer. But we typically recommend starting with at least 3 days and 3 nights. And you can't come to AlUla without experiencing our amazing heritage and history, visiting our 4 primary heritage sites. You can easily spend a full day or more immersing yourself and learning about the cultures and civilizations that have inhabited the area for thousands of years. Then, of course, it's a stunningly beautiful destination. So getting out and exploring nature through hikes, visiting our farms. We have 3 million date palms in the destination that produce 2.3 million tons of dates annually, as well as mangoes and figs. And visiting the farms are a great way to connect with locals as well. And one of our top experiences is stargazing, as we have some of the most enviable dark skies in the region. And it's a great way to learn about how ancient Arabian cultures followed the stars for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And then in the arts and culture space with our performing arts venue, Mariah, we're going to have a great selection of events and performing artists that are going to be can't miss around specific dates that will be rolled out and announced hopefully soon. And we have, as you saw, our adventure products from the zip line to the horseback riding trails. And if you want to go a little slower and experience wellness and really relax, we offer yoga and as well as sound therapy. And of course, with Banyan Tree and Habitas opening this fall, they're going to have amazing spas that you can really relax and indulge yourself in. So no one perfect itinerary for the India audience, but certainly plenty to see and do to create the perfect itinerary for the experience that you're seeking.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tyler. I honestly feel that one could really spend, up to a week or even more, and there's just so many things to do out there. So our next question is for Zoe. So, many people have a lot of preconceptions about Saudi Arabia. And, you have lived all your life in Australia. Did you have any preconceptions, and, what were they and how have they been overcome? Just wanted to ask you that, Zoe.
Well, first of all, thanks, Bina, for giving me the sticky questions. But I do think that it's really important that we address these in these forums, because there are a lot of preconceptions about Saudi. And certainly, as you say, as somebody that's lived in very safe countries all of my life, I certainly had some questions. And obviously, Saudi has been sort of such a place that's been closed off for tourists. So there's certainly a mystique about it that people are intrigued about, but also cautious about. And I think some of those things for me were around the safety, obviously, about being a female, and the freedom that I would have to go about my life as a female. I guess how strict some of the rules are with regards to clothing, etc. But what I found pretty much straight away, that the friendliness and the welcome shown by the locals absolutely blew me away. And after just a few days, I felt very comfortable. The national dress of the men and women became very normal in Riyadh. And I really found in Riyadh no different than in any other international city. And then when I got to AlUla, the welcome here is almost 10 times. The ladies are really, they sort of travel about in packs with their kids, and they're just so keen to approach you and want to talk to you about your experience and where you're from, and give you that really warm AlUla welcome. So I think pretty much any preconceptions I had were dissolved very, very quickly when I arrived.
That's great. And Zoe, can you tell us how comfortable, is it for solo women to travel? How
Yeah.
big destination?
I mean, there's very, very low crime rate in Saudi. I certainly feel very safe traveling around as a solo woman. We can do any of the things that you can do in most other cities. I drive, I eat alone in restaurants or with male colleagues, stay in hotels, use the gym. I think, the only thing I would say in Riyadh in particular, with, if you wanted to use the pool, then perhaps there are other, pools for women and pools for males, or there's certain times that you can access the pool. But certainly the international hotels that we're building in AlUla will be adhering to international hotel pool etiquette as well as everything else. So really, I haven't traveled extensively around Saudi yet, but certainly in AlUla, the air is clean. There are many, many great ways to appreciate the landscapes and nature, heritage and culture as solo travelers, and as I'm sure it is in most other parts of Saudi.
That's wonderful to hear. And Zoe, my next question is also for you. So what are the cultural restrictions, travelers should keep in mind while visiting AlUla? How should people dress? I mean, there's a lot of questions regarding, can people go sunbathing? Can they wear a swimming costume, for example?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think in pool settings, in hotel settings, then that will be the same as any other international hotel. Of course, there are, some conservative protocols around dress, and you should dress conservatively. Long pants and skirts and covered shoulders is the respectful way to dress as you're traveling around AlUla. I've been enjoying the opportunity to immerse myself in the culture by building up my collection of fashionable buyers. So that's a personal choice, and it's certainly not expected of anyone visiting. Obviously, there are rules around alcohol. It's not permitted. People should refrain from being overly romantic in public settings. But these things become pretty normal pretty quickly, and any negative perceptions about things like that are immediately dissolved when people come and really appreciate what we've got to offer here.
So we're going to still focus on Zoe, spotlight on Zoe. One more question for you, Zoe. We know that bringing a Bollywood shoot to AlUla would be a great attraction. Like India really works on Bollywood. We can't wait to see our Bollywood stars in AlUla. Considering AlUla has an outstanding landscape and natural beauty, will AlUla Tourism will we from Royal Commission for AlUla be looking at Bollywood filming in AlUla? And how do we plan to attract it?
Yeah, so absolutely. Last year, the AlUla Film Commission was set up, Film AlUla, and the team is busy promoting AlUla as a major film location opportunity. Some of our landscapes, are very varied. They can suit a variety of backdrops, be it action, war, adventure, and of course, romance. We we would love to open the door to Bollywood, and there are many nature and man-made assets that would feature beautifully in a romantic scene from a Bollywood movie. So our team is in the early stages of establishing some relationships in India for this purpose. They are going to be at Cannes in a couple of weeks' time, opening the door to international filmmakers from around the world. And of course, we have our the Red Sea International Film Festival, which is coming later in the year, in November. So we're hoping to have a few Bollywood stars perhaps come out and maybe make a trip over to AlUla during that time. So definitely something big on our agenda. We'd love to host some Bollywood films, and certainly any of the Bollywood stars we'd welcome with open arms.
Yeah, that's a great way to kickstart tourism. So now moving on to Gus. Gus, you are responsible for marketing all of Saudi Arabia. Can you tell us, let our travel partners know from your perspective, what is special about AlUla and why it is integral for Indians to visit?
Look, having had the pleasure to go to AlUla and visit it, I really, there's no doubt that AlUla is an extremely special place. There are very few places in this world where you can really feel like a true explorer, charting really the unknown. And AlUla is at the core of Saudi's archaeological and cultural history. It is home to several of these preserved tombs, as well as the stunning natural rock formations, as Melanie spoke about in the beginning. And this is going to be the cornerstone to Saudi's ancient past. And as you said, as Melanie also highlighted, the 200,000-year-old history is really something that I wish each and every one of you, along with your travelers and your customers, are able to witness.
And Tyler, moving on to you, you know that Indians are food lovers and would like to try out new cuisines while on a holiday. Can you talk us through some of the food that's available in AlUla? Can you also throw some light on the availability of vegetarian, because lots of Indians are vegetarian, as you know. Is there any particular dish that you feel that, oh, when I go to AlUla, I must try?
Well, absolutely. And I certainly have fallen in love with Saudi cuisine and regional cuisine. And there are a few dishes I think that will be familiar to Indians. I think that some of the primary dishes includes the national dish, which is kabsa, which is very similar to biryani. And I think it's ultimately influenced and has origins in the subcontinent. And obviously a rice dish with different types of meat, whether it be lamb or chicken. Then there's also salig, which is a savory porridge, similar in America, a little bit to what we would refer to as grits, and it's a creamy grain, often served also with meat. And then a good bridge here for meat and vegetarians is my personal favorite, which is called matabak, which is a pancake that is served with either a meat or a cheese filling. It can also be served with fruit. I actually had some last night for dessert and a great meal at a great local restaurant. And from the vegetarian options, there's a dish called jarish, which is also another savory porridge that's creamy and thick and really filling and hearty. And that's served with onions and local savory spices. There's magug and gursan, which are Saudi stews. Saudi is famous for hearty stews that typically have meat, but there are vegetarian options that are served at restaurants here in AlUla and certainly throughout the kingdom. And then what will be familiar as well to the Indian visitors will be what we refer to as sambusa, which is very much like samosa. So it's a deep fried pastry, often filled with cheese or vegetables or meat. And then certainly other Middle Eastern favorites like hummus and mutapul and tabula and fattoush salad that of course are vegetarian, and the amazing local breads. And we have many local artisan bakers as well as an array of providers of local produce and vegetables. And I know that the Habitas F&B program, I was meeting with the F&B director recently, and he was looking to incorporate deals with farms to incorporate local ingredients as well as some international items. And all of our restaurants really consider that. So you can have local Saudi cuisine, some local Hijazi regional cuisine, as well as international. So certainly something for everyone, including vegetarians.
Wow, that's really mouth-watering. I hope I can read the next question. Zoe, my next question is to you. AlUla certainly has had a great launch worldwide. Can you give us a sneak peek into what the destination has in store for the upcoming months? What are the new activities and experiences one can look forward to?
Well, I would like to do that, but I'm so hungry now after that
Yes.
question that I haven't had lunch. But I think we've actually covered off quite a few of the new things coming in the presentation so far. I know we've got Mohammed about to jump in with some more info about habitats, but I guess carrying on with the food theme, we do have some new exciting new F&B coming. In particular, there's a restaurant on top of Mariah, which is called not going to be called Mariah Social, which we're getting ready to talk about launching. A chef called Jason Atherton, who is a British chef, who's got restaurants all around many cities around the world. So we're really excited about that. We have all of the new and increasing range of eateries up down Old Town, which is a great street for not only for eating, but some really great shops there. We've got new shops and retail arriving all of the time, including fantastic local ceramics and some great like local Sadu product. Abaya shops. We've got shops selling books now, so that, and homewares. So more of that will be coming, and we've got some beautiful new souvenir outlets within the heritage sites as well. A fantastic new one in Hegra, which is going to be selling locally made products and great, very high end kind of souvenir and arts. So that's exciting. I think in the wellness space, we really saw a great increase, a great uptake of some of our wellness experiences in the season that we just had. And in fact, interesting, that it was great that we had such a great take up of the last season. Obviously, in the middle of the pandemic, we still managed to open our heritage sites in October 2020 for visitors as a year-round offer. So that's something we really do want to make sure people are aware of, that they can come to our heritage sites and visit all year round. And at the moment, we're still running early morning hiking product, as well as some of the new product that's coming in for summer and beyond, really seeing AlUla from above. So it's possibly not a better way to see AlUla with its many, volcanic plains and the 20-kilometer of oasis, some of the mystical kind of burial sites that the archaeologists are currently excavating from the air. So we're going to be launching helicopter flights, and I think some vintage air flights as well. So that's just to give you a sneak peek. I think Tyler mentioned some of the arts that are coming back. We're really excited to be really putting on an amazing events calendar again, akin to previous years. So we can't give too much away right now, but I think the Indian consumers will be very, very happy with what we've got to offer.
Kamel, you're beautiful. My next question is for you. Your beautiful resort is opening in September. Actually, we can't stop talking about it. It looks stunning, and some of the experiences we have there will be extremely unique. I think like your stargazing experience in the Celestial Suite. What will be the key features of the property? Also, please touch upon the number of rooms and restaurants and what Indians will be able to experience there.
Well, thank you, Zan, for the question, and I would like to thank you and thank Bina for the lovely introduction and for sharing our thoughts and how we see our brand. And let me spend a little bit of time on that. When we call or describe our hotels with the word of home, it's because we understand how much this word has significance to all of us, and from the brand name itself, Habitas, which means where you live in Latin, all the way down to the service excellence across all disciplines and initiatives that we have on property. And that allow us to create the magical world and the magical atmosphere that make the guest feel that they are not strangers, and they are really and can be really family and friends to our properties. So we are working very productively with our family here in Habitats AlUla, along with our family and friends in the Royal Commission for AlUla, towards having the property softly open in September and officially open in October. The property is located in a prime location within Ashar Valley. We spoke about Maraya at the beginning of the session, so the hotel is just 5 minutes away from the Maraya, 10 minutes away from the Old Town, and 15 minutes away from Al-Hijr UNESCO site. The brand itself and across all our properties is an experience-based brand through a sustainable architecture approach, utilizing and using ethically sourced materials. No carbon emission in our properties. We have an exceptional culinary farm-to-table approach, and that has been highlighted in a few minutes ago by Tyler. And we do that physically on the floor. We partner with local farmers and local farms to source the materials straight from the farm to the hotel and getting it to the table on the spot. Our wellness and programming is using local ingredients. We do partner as well with local artisans in the market. So a lot of the artwork that you will see in the property when we welcome you are actually locally sourced from AlUla market and other Saudi cities as well. The property will be having 96 villas, providing 3 different accommodation experiences. You did mention one of them, Huzan, which is a celestial villa that will have and will include an individual telescope in each and every villa of the Celestials to provide the stargazing experience at the comfort of your villa. We do have our alcove villas as well, and these are villas located within the canyon opposite to rock formations that are giving the cave experience and more sense of privacy. While our canyon villas, which is a third experience of accommodation, is overlooking the full canyon ahead, allowing the family and friends to really enjoy the atmosphere of the canyon. We have our Tama restaurant, which is the all-day dining restaurant. And the restaurant is named after the word here in the Aramaic language. And Aramaic language is the Nabatean kingdom language. And it's also the origin of a lot of Eastern languages, including Arabic. The restaurant will be serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner on a la carte basis. And as Tyler mentioned, we do have a variety of culinary experiences, including vegan and vegetarian dishes that are really curated to the needs of our family and friends and our guests who will be welcoming very soon to the property. Our wellness and programming is going to be exceptional with a variety of individual experiences that will be utilizing and using local ingredients between citrus, cactus, mango, moringa oil. We will also have a variety of group programming. Stargazing is definitely one of them, and is going to be one of unique experiences on property. In addition, the experiences that will be available in the destination as well. We will also have a variety of yoga, meditation, and other group programming that will be available to our guests on property.
Thank you, Kamil. So in terms of recreational facilities, can you just highlight a few, what are the recreational activities that Habitats will offer that we can book through the hotel, what our agents can book through the hotel?
Definitely. We are going to have an infinity pool along with the pool deck and the juice bar in the same premises. We are going to have our wellness facility with 5 separate retreat suites that can cater to individual guests or couples at the same time for couple retreats. We are going to have our fitness facility in addition to the yoga deck and other open areas within the canyon for multiple programming that we are preparing and curating for our guests, and would like to actually keep that for now as a lovely surprise for our guests when they arrive.
When we visit, yeah. So for our next question, we are moving on to Go Zahid Tours, Samir, who's quite familiar with the Indian market, and also somebody that the tour operators from India can work with. Sameer, can you tell us about the services of Go Zahid Tours? You have a lot of experience also in working with Indian agents. We've also been colleagues in the past. How do you plan to work with the Indian agents for AlUla?
Thank you. Thank you, Uzan. And at the outset, I'm delighted to be part of this panel discussion with many of the colleagues from the Royal Commission, as well as Mohammed Kamil and Augustus from STA and Alan from Al Barak. So, and we're all looking forward, obviously, eagerly to the imminent opening of travel. Uzan, to your question, yes, Zahid Travel, Bina, thank you for the initial introduction. Zahid Travel is a 62-year-old company and has been, in the travel business within Saudi Arabia for that duration of time, and is very well established across the kingdom, headquartered in Jeddah. The Go Zahid destination management business is essentially, as we all know in destination management, is focusing on the customer and the guest experience. Within our industry of destination management, as we all know, it's the people that make the difference. From the time, the team that is engaged from the planning stage with the travel trade fraternity in India to the actual execution when the guests or clients, visitors come to the destination. And this team within Go Zahid is experienced across the spectrum of the travel segments, from FIT leisure, MICE, groups, and cruise as well, which incidentally last year there was a small cruise product in KSA, and the plan is there'll be more of that as well. And all the luxury products that we've just talked about within Go Zahid, we have a dedicated luxury division as well, and that team specializes in the luxury traveler and everything those high net worth or ultra high net worth individuals need. Which for many of you in the travel industry, give you an example, includes very often private jets and private yachts. Within the Go Zahid, as far as the approach that we follow is to have boots on the ground. So in AlUla, we have a dedicated destination manager and his team actively working with the Royal Commission, with the various stakeholders from the hotel and service providers, to ensure the engagement is at a multidimensional level in order to eventually ensure that the guest experience for in this instance for the Indian market, but obviously applicable across the spectrum, is of a really superior quality, Uzan.
Thank you. And my next question is also for you, Sameer. As direct flights to AlUla are currently not available, and therefore entry into KSA will be via Riyadh or Jeddah, how can you assist with travel requirements for other parts of Saudi Arabia in addition to AlUla?
Thanks again, Uzan. I think Gus covered it at the start, and Melody and Tyler also touched upon this. At the moment, AlUla, whilst it's an international airport, does not have direct international flights. So as a matter of fact, we recommend to, because the gateway has to be via Riyadh or Jeddah, we recommend coming in via Riyadh or Jeddah into the kingdom as part of an itinerary. And, everybody from the Indian fraternity that's on this call, you're all familiar, of course, with the Golden Triangle. I wouldn't call this a Golden Triangle because this is an open jaw. So the recommendation is you come in from Riyadh, experience Riyadh, then go to AlUla, come to Jeddah, and then exit from there. These two cities, and Gus touched upon them earlier, these two cities are unique, and they offer a very distinct insight into Saudi Arabia, both modern Saudi Arabia as well as historical Saudi Arabia. Jeddah has got, both have got UNESCO Heritage World recognized sites. Jeddah, as a matter of fact, for those of you who are motor enthusiasts, will host the first Formula One in Saudi Arabia, which will be a street race in December this year. So, that'll provide quite a very special experience. So again, our team from the destination management side, from the planning stage, working with the trade, whether they are, coming as leisure or for events or honeymooners or for a wedding, to the high net worth individuals that I touched upon earlier, the planning stage to the eventual execution. Like in AlUla, we emphasize on ensuring superior quality. So we've got teams on the ground in both these destinations as well to complement and ensure the entire guest experience end to end, whichever segment they may be from. As I said, leisure or groups or incentives. We've had actually lots of engagement with the Indian market in the last few months, and programs include for potential weddings, potential groups of ladies, and this was a question I think that was put forward to Zoe, ladies as well traveling together. So what it takes to support and facilitate that. In addition to AlUla, we can and provide our travel trade partners in India essentially a one-stop shop.
Thank you so much, Samir, for that information. And I'm sure listeners would love to know about Alborac. Could you please, Alan, tell us about Alborac and the services that your company offers?
Sure, Bina. Thank you. Thank you for making us part of this as well. And we'd like to thank everybody from the STA, from the RCU, and then yourselves as well again, and my good friend Samir and Mohammed. What makes Alborac a good partner for the Indian market is that Alborac usually, in addition to all the classical destination management tools that we do and the services that we offer, Alborac likes to be usually present in the destinations and in the destinations, source destination market that actually are interested into coming into Saudi Arabia. And therefore, we're looking at the moment into having someone from the team to be located in India and having a more on-ground presence and to help the tour operator in India be closer to the destination as much as we can, in addition to a value-added services that we offer during all the experiences happening or done in Saudi Arabia throughout the destination, and especially in AlUla. Now, as everybody knows, Saudi Arabia at the moment is not open for the tourism visas, but we're looking forward that this is going to happen very, very shortly, and therefore we are eager to welcome all our friends coming from India and to showcase and explain about the beauty of Saudi Arabia and how this destination actually and globally summarize the beauty and the magic and the romance of Arabia in general, and the heritage and the history and the richness that this destination has to offer, and especially in a destination like AlUla. Now, Alborac started doing destination management services or offering destination management services since 2011, and it was focusing mostly on the corporate requirements for Saudi Arabia, and then eventually evolved into a global destination management service company, and focusing a lot on the source international market, like we said, India, and we have another representation or representative office in Russia, handling the Russian market, and another one in Europe, handling the European market. So as I mentioned earlier, we like to be close to our partners and try to build the bridges in between the source market and the destination itself.
Thank you, Alan. And our last question on this panel discussion is also for you. India has great potential for MICE. Can you tell us a little bit about how you would be able to create some interesting experiences for small MICE groups? Are there facilities available for Indian groups to have their own chef?
Great question, Lina. That is a sure thing. I mean, small MICE groups or large MICE groups, we can handle both. We have a team on the ground that is specialized for the MICE segment of bookings, whether on ground or whether in the operations in the office or in the back offices, and they are really focused on the demands of that particular segment. Sure, since we have done a lot of corporate travel before, and we have done a lot of MICE before, so our expertise is really vast for that kind of business. And we have done before a lot of special requirements like culinary experiences in the desert. We have managed before requirements for VIP, especially during Formula E, not this one, but previous ones. And we had like the VIPs event happening to include a open air dinner with special requirements for culinary experiences, to include Indian food and other cuisines as well. So yes, for sure, that is available in all levels and for smaller groups or larger groups at any given time.
Thank you, Alan. And I'd now like to say a big thanks to the audience for everybody's attention. We hope you found this useful, and also thank you to the panel for sharing your insights. So we will now move on to the Q&A session. And we've got lots of questions from the audience. And at this point, I just want to mention that we will try and answer as many as we can today. And for those that we are not able to answer because we are running short on time, we will reply to those on email to you. And I just want to mention that, there have been a lot of questions that we've got requesting for our contact details, asking for our videos. So just want to reiterate that it's all available right now on the screen. We have these tabs which have all our brochures available, all the contact details of not only AlUla but all the speakers who are on the panel today. So you can find that today. So please download everything that you want from there. And of course, we are always going to be in touch with you. So please continue to be in touch with us and email us for anything that you need. And the other thing I noticed is that there are a lot of questions that have been coming in regarding dress code, visas, women traveling, average number of days required. So these are things that I think have already been answered in the panel discussion because these questions came in earlier. So we just touch upon a few of the other questions. We have a question from Najri Sashidhar. She says, can you please touch upon the seasonality of AlUla and what would be the best time to visit? So Tyler, may I request you to answer this question, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So from a seasonality perspective, the high season is winter. And so running essentially in October through March is when we host many of our signature events and where we have most activations. And we have the shoulder season that runs from April essentially through May, as well as in the fall, running from really September to early October when the high season picks up again. And we are a year-round destination, so the low season is summer, as it is very warm in the Middle East, but we have created many experiences that are early in the morning. So we are running our heritage tours early in the morning. We actually are going to be reactivating our zip line very early in the morning, as well as experiences later in the evening towards sunset when the temperatures are cooler. Of course, signature stargazing will certainly continue to run year round. So we're open year round, and there are different seasons where one can enjoy different aspects of the destination, and certainly price points are going to play a factor in that as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tyler. We have another question from Vimi Deshpande. So as these are very sensitive archaeological discoveries, is there any specific protocols that the tourist should follow? Zoe, can I ask you to answer that question, please?
Sorry, Bina, are there any specifics? Could you just repeat the last bit?
Sorry, as these are very sensitive archaeological discoveries, are there any specific protocols that the tourists will need to follow?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be able to bring tourists out to the archaeological sites per se. they are mostly out in the Sharan Nature Reserve, for example. These are the sites that you can see from the helicopter, these mustatils that they're actually excavating now, which is big, massive, like football field size rectangles of stone. Some of the earliest examples of these sorts of sites that have ever been found, in fact, earliest and biggest examples of burial sites. So that is a live excavation that's going on now. Visitors won't be able to necessarily go out and see that work happening, but we're working with the likes of National Geographic, for example, Discovery. We talked about that documentary that really gives an insight into some of the really, really significant finds that are being found that really reposition this whole Arabian Peninsula in terms of the significance in development of civilization. So it's really exciting, the work that's happening. Visitors can certainly learn about it when they're here, potentially talk to an archaeologist, and if they do those helicopter flights, they can see some of the sites. So there's no real danger of them disrupting any of those sites. But we're really focused here on our leave no trace message. So even if it's not an archaeological site, the heritage sites are very, very precious to us, and we do ask our visitors to really respect some of the rules around not touching and just looking and really leaving as little a trace as possible.
Thank you, Zoe. Our next question is from Aarti for Habitas. Can Habitas cater to Indian travelers that largely prefer Indian food?
Absolutely. We definitely can cater to that. And that's why I mentioned during our previous speech about how we curate our culinary experience towards human needs rather than a specific cuisine. So vegetarian and vegan items is one of the key experiences we are focusing in our property, aiming to diversify the culinary experience and try and do our best to be as internationally balanced as possible. So it's not a cuisine driven rather than an culinary experience driven according to human needs.
Thank you so much. Our next question is for, I think Alan will be able to take up the next question. How would one, reach the main monuments from the resort? I mean, are they walking distance? How would one go there? And how would one basically get to see the monument?
Actually, there are special transportation buses and 4x4 cars that could actually take the client from the hotel all the way where they check into into the sites, and then they go with the dedicated guides and they do a round of the whole monuments and heritage sites, and then they go back and then they pick them up from that gate and back to the hotel.
Thank you so much. We have a question from Amit Kalsi. I'll ask that to Samir. Do you have an option with prior permission and special permit to have AlUla attractions, areas booked exclusively for a group of family for a few hours, where no other visitors will be allowed against a fee?
So if I understand this, Bina, you're saying the question from Amit is to be able to secure one of the heritage sites exclusively?
Yes.
Well, typically the answer would be no. It would be looked at on a case-to-case basis because, at any given point in time, the destination is open to many visitors from around the world. So we'll need to identify what that time is and work closely, obviously, with the Royal Commission to potentially identify if there's any other windows that does not impact other visitors visiting the destination.
Thank you so much, Samir. And
Tyler, is there anything you would like to add?
No, Samir, that's correct. Yeah, it's case-by-case basis. Currently, it's not something that we're actively doing, but it really depends on the request. But it's not something that would be offered regularly, and certainly it would need to be a very high-profile client and activity, and likely something that would be of national significance.
Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Amit. And we have only 2 more questions to go. One quick question for you guys. How far is AlUla from Neom? I hope I pronounced that correctly.
If you're going to ask me exact specifications, I'm definitely going to get that wrong. But then having said that, look, it is a drive away. Tabuk is kind of the closest international airport that you have to AlUla. So you land into Tabuk, which again is probably the midpoint between Neom and AlUla. So AlUla would be a 3-hour drive away from Tabuk. And possibly the same distance to Neom. So Neom today is something that is developing as a destination, and have with AlUla already ready and there to take international visitors.
Thank you so much, guys. And now my last question is for you, Tyler, after which I'll request you to give a wrap up, and then I'll request everybody to still hang on because we have our wonderful quiz coming up. And this question is from Arvind Kumar Kasula. What are the steps taken for COVID safety and what formalities are going to be followed post-COVID?
Yeah, so as far as safety protocols, AlUla being a largely, it's an outdoor destination, right? So our core product, from the heritage sites to our nature products, adventure, really even arts and culture and the performing arts venue, it has doors that open. So most of the destination experiences are outdoors. And so in a post-COVID environment, that's something that is a major advantage because people can keep their distance. People can feel, as we know, it's a lot safer to be outdoors. Certainly, currently, and I know these updates change regularly, but currently there's a story in Arab News that vaccinations will be required to enter. So I think that will be one of the precautions as well as the accelerated vaccination rates in Saudi Arabia as a precautionary measure. And we've been operating as a year-round destination since October. And so we have reduced capacity for our tours, and we have a set protocol following the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism to follow those regulations to reduce the amount of people that can congregate, certain dining restrictions. And so there are a number of protocols we already have in place, and I think that we will continue to implement safety measures as this crisis continues globally. But we're hoping that with vaccination rates growing and accepting visitors who are vaccinated and the outdoor experiences, that we don't have to necessarily continue to evolve the precautionary and safety measures, and we can slowly start to have those dissipate and dissolve as we move into a post-COVID environment.
Tyler, if you can just give us some closing comments and then we move on with the quiz.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of your busy schedules to learn more about AlUla. I hope that this session has been educational and informative, as we are very excited to host visitors from India. It's a top priority market. We understand the opportunity that exists to bring Indian visitors to the destination. And it's something that we will continue to work very closely with our great team at Beautiful Planet to extend our offerings and to cater to the India market to make it a welcoming place to visit and an accessible destination to distribute, promote, and sell. And so a big thank you to all of you who will help us on that endeavor. And I also just want to thank all of our amazing partners for joining us today. Kamal from Habitas, Gus from Saudi Tourism Authority, Alan from Al-Barak, from Zahed, as well as Zoe, my partner in crime here at the Royal Commission, and of course, Bina and Huzan for putting on a great program and continuing to do an amazing job in extending our efforts in the marketplace. So thank you all for attending. We really appreciate your support. And I'll turn it over to Huzan to continue with the quiz.
So now we come to an exciting part. There are some good prizes to be won. We just have 5 questions, and each question carries a prize of an Amazon voucher, which we will courier to you, to the first person that gets it right. So the first one is, how many monumental tombs does Hegra have? The closest one will get the answer. Have the answers started coming in? Just waiting for the answers. I somehow guessed this, that Nakshi would get the answer right. So Nakshi is the first winner. The second question is, name the convention center in AlUla that entered the Guinness Book of World Records and why? You don't need to give a very long answer, just say why it entered the Guinness Book of World Records and the name of the convention center. The winner is Sonal Swami. So the multipurpose, the answer to the first one is about 100 to 110 monumental tombs. Over 100 monumental tombs is the number of tombs that are in Hegra. The second one is the multipurpose convention center. The name is Maraya, and it has been registered as the world's largest mirrored building in the Guinness Book of World Records. And the winner is Sonal Swami of Sirisia Travels. Moving on to the third question, name the monolithic rock named after an animal. That's an easy one. It's very synonymous with AlUla. I think the answer is coming in. Vinay from Sky Trips has got the right answer. The name is Elephant Rock, Jabal Al Fil. The next question, just 2 more questions to go. So name 2 cities in Saudi Arabia from where you can fly to AlUla International Airport. That's very easy. I think the answer is almost in, the first person to answer correctly. Pooja Manohar from Daria.com. So, and the correct answer is Riyadh and Jeddah. And now the last question before we close the webinar is, how many rooms does Habitas AlUla Resort have? And when is the hotel opening? Answers not yet come in. I'll say it again. How many rooms does Habitas AlUla Resort have? And when is the hotel opening? Okay, we've got an answer from Nitesh Pasari. So Habitas AlUla will have about 100, close to 100 luxury rooms and will open by September, October 2021. So coming up very soon. So with this, we close the session for today. Thank you very much. We want to thank the panel for attending, and we want to thank all the travel trade for attending this and listening to the great presentations. And we hope to work with all of you very soon. Thank you.
So on behalf of the entire AlUla team, I'd like to thank everyone for your active participation in the webinar and quiz. We really hope you're excited to promote AlUla, and we will keep you updated on the borders opening and all the developments on the visa front. And many thanks again to our partners, Augustus, Alan, Samir, and Kamel for making time to be with us today. And before signing off, I'd also like to thank the entire team at T3 and Dreamcast for providing this platform. So T3 will provide you access to our brochures, presentations, and contact details of key members of our team, including Rashmi, Kavya, Tara, and Jackie. Please stay in touch with us, and we will be happy to help you with any support you may require to promote AlUla. Take care and stay safe. Thank you.